Welcome back, everybody.
Yes, CNJ I'm Scott.
I'm Tabitha.
And today we have with us Brian from Delco Air.
Well, thank you, Scott and Tabitha, for having me today. I greatly appreciate being on the show.
So, we always have our vendors talk at our meetings and give a brief elevator pitch, but what got you into the heating and air conditioning industry? What made you want to do that?
We want to get to know you.
Just really in high school, looking to do a trade, and I was always very good with my hands, and always liked to figure out things and have different tasks per se. If I was going into a trade, it was either air conditioning, well, electrical, I should say, or plumbing, or carpentry, welding. I really like to get involved with plumbing and electrical. Then heating and air conditioning, they do plumbing and electric, and also do engineering and airflow and comfort design. So it really took all the trades that I was into and put it into one.
How long did it take you, and what did you have to go through in order to start your own business?
About 2 years in schooling for trade school, understanding the trade even more, starting out as an installer, well, a helper, I should say. And then starting with installations, understanding how to install the equipment, install the products, and so forth. I used to be facilities manager for the Vitamin Shop, facilities manager for Wendy's restaurants, and so forth like that. They hired me for my heating and air conditioning skills. Then I also learned a little bit more about facilities management, maintenance, and ran all the facilities and so forth. Even in high school, my goal was to always have my own heating and air conditioning business.
You had your game plan and didn't even know it back then. You weren't even getting coached by anybody probably, and said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it happen. And you did.
Eventually getting into my own business, getting tired of the corporate world. I ran other companies for a little while to really understand the smaller business dynamics. So I ran a successful business for another company for a while. We want you to take care of our equipment now. When you start a business, especially when you're a technician, hands-on, the instant gratification of fixing something right then and there and seeing the customer smile. Yes, you got to be really strict, dedicated, stern, and want to continuously learn to get there.
Awesome. I love it. I've been hearing a lot about that dedication, hard work, sticking to it lately over the past couple of weeks. People tend to shy away from that when you're an entrepreneur, but I think if you really want to be successful, you have to have some of the knowledge and you have to put in some of the effort.
Even in fact, nowadays, I don't even think of myself of owning a heating and air conditioning business anymore. I'm at that mindset now that I'm an entrepreneur.
So I have a few questions because I heard you went to school, trade school. Right. So what do you hold and how do they demonstrate your expertise in this world?
So my background, I have a degree with the heating and air conditioning technology and so forth. I actually went even a little extra further down the road and different other engineering degrees within my industry and so forth like that. Owning a business, obviously, you have your contractor's license per se through the state and so forth. You need to have that background. And now I have my master heating and air conditioning license per se. What that's you're really setting the part nowadays that you're specializing in a particular industry. Where we're in a customer service age now in the industry, right? And I'm always instilling it with my staff that you're important just like a doctor, just like an attorney, just like a politician, because all those people will call you if their heating and air conditioning breaks down.
Especially, I gotta tell you, I'm sorry, but as a woman, when you're going through certain changes of life and it's 100 degrees with 95% humidity and that air don't work, yes. You are my best friend.
Exactly.
And you're my husband's best friend too. I want to hear it.
It's very true,
With the certificates and stuff, because it does heating, air conditioning, electrical, plumbing. So you have to be licensed in a lot of different fields.
No, technically the heating and air conditioning, there's a lot of regulations and so forth. So heating and air conditioning is that license particularly that comes into tail. When you go to the heating and air conditioning school industry and so forth, you get EPA certified to handle different refrigerants, the proper procedures of how to remove them from the system, how to really get rid of them completely without affecting the ozone layer or global warming and so forth like that. It's really involved, and each year they're changing. For example, we just came back from a seminar that the new refrigerant 410A, well, it's been around for a while. They're going to be getting rid of that eventually within like 3 years. And now each state has to individualize and figure out how they're going to handle it. So we do a little bit of electrical work, we do a little bit of plumbing, but the primary items from electric, from main power feeds and so forth like that, that's a certified electrician that we work hand in hand with. Same thing with the plumbing aspect of as well. There's always a fine line of which each individual can do, or trade can do, I should say.
Sets expectations for people when they're looking to do something from scratch or move something, that they have the different trades in there working side by side with each other, so you're on the same page.
Not even ground up, say we gutted a house and first trade that comes in would be plumbing,
HVAC.
electrical. Do you go before? Do you know?
HVAC, plumbing, and electrical, kind of all at the same time. Primarily more the HVAC side of things first. You're putting the framing up. You have to put your new vent boxes in, your supply and return boxes.
Okay.
Within the framing aspect of everything, and then you want to run your ductwork really before plumbing and electrical, any wires or any piping might get into the way. Obviously, always coordinating with the other trades from the plans, because the plans aren't always 100% accurate. Engineers, I love engineers, but sometimes we always have to correct things when you're on site, or architectural drawings per se. The really first step's crucial. I would say the aspect of it is it'd be the heating and air conditioning, ductwork, and so forth.
So do the heating and air conditioning, then have your electrical
plumbing and electric at the same time.
Pretty much the same time per se, because if they want your ductwork's the bulk of it, it's a bigger area or item that's going in.
The ductwork is bigger, so it's easier for the plumber.
So for the new people, do you get this where your trades are coming through?
Because I know the architects, at least the ones we've worked with, they don't do the drawings for HVAC.
Yes.
Do you do them, or you have an outside company that provides the drawings?
Oh, those calculations.
The
mechanical drawings. We per se, it all depends on the job, and the fit of the customer. We normally don't do a lot of them per se. What happens, it all depends on the layout of the job too, because sometimes they want to get certified. So sometimes you need a mechanical engineer to sign off on those projects. So we're not technically on paper mechanical engineers, but we actually have fit outs and drawings, and spent a lot of times from known companies out there to small residential houses where we've provided them for.
So that would go with the question of how do you approach the sizing recommended for HVAC system for energy efficiency in the homes?
Technically, it's called a Manual J. It's very known. If you have any heating and air conditioning people who watch the podcast, they would know about the Manual J format and so forth like that. It's a software management program. You type in the location of the home, the layout and so forth, either a new build out, even for an existing home, square footage, how many rooms per se, and the R value of insulation and your roof, the style of the roof as well too. It all calculates that out for you. So it'll tell you how much BTUs of heating you would need, and size tonnage wise for the air conditioning per se too. Me personally as well, on top of that also, I'm very, very big into airflow, meaning having the correct returns and supplies in the areas to get the right air circulation throughout a home. So a lot of builders nowadays too, they do a tight fit home where it's called the stack effect. So any homes that were built from the 50s all the way up to recent modern times, they were created to breathe in the attics, your soffits and so forth. You would feel a little draft through sometimes the windows or through the outlets, because it's breathing going up and it's releasing out of the attic. That was created by design due to the fact that households have more pollutants indoors than they do outdoors. Meaning from the chemicals that you have within your home to your flooring, to your carpeting, to even your walls, all the materials that it's actually made out of, Nowadays, homes are built very tight. So when you have a home that's built very tight, you have to do the correct calculations as well of the type of air that you're bringing in, the air exchange, due to the fact if you don't calculate it correctly, those tight homes, there might be more energy efficient, less BTU ratings or less for the heat and for the air conditioning, but you're going to have respiratory issues. You're going to build up mold, mildew in your house because the houses are not breathing correctly.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So in other words, the return that I saw on the attic stairway, on the pull down stairs, is not correct. The maintenance plans and warranties on these, after you go through all this, what plans or warranties do you offer for the longevity to make sure that these systems work correctly for the longest amount of time?
When we install new equipment, we provide actually a 10-year manufacturer warranty on parts. We have a 2-year labor warranty. Preventative maintenance programs is always a must. We always include a 1-year maintenance program with the installation of the equipment. We call it a comfort club program. It's always recommended to have the company who installed the equipment to maintain the equipment on a regular basis, usually twice a year. Start up before the spring season or the summer season, I should say, the springtime, to make sure the air conditioning is functioning correctly, and so forth in the fall, September, October time, to make sure the heat's functioning correctly as well too.
So we had a company, well known, I'm not going to mention PSE&G's name. They set up the system, but
it was the fall startup.
Sure.
They didn't clean a certain part, which
the exhaust area where the gas.
The flue pipe
from the unit.
And it backed up and caused us all to have carbon monoxide poisoning. You
That's
make sure all these parts are clean?
Yes, it's
Okay.
I'm glad that you said that, because right now with our Comfort Club program, we include, well, one, on a heating system, we always make sure those things are working correctly. In fact, say something hypothetically happens and 6 months down the road, a bird is building a nest outside. It's very possible, or animal gets inside the exhaust. Technically, there's devices within the equipment that should have shut the system down immediately to even prevent carbon monoxide issues within your home.
It depends on the age of the equipment. That's the thing. It depends on the age of the installation, because ours didn't have any sensors or type.
Sure. Yeah, everything nowadays has them, but
Okay.
we do provide, we always make sure we have a commissioning procedure. We do it for new equipment. We do it for existing equipment as well, too. With the proper tools, you'd be able to find out the optimal levels of what the system is doing and how it should run correctly. And if it's a little bit offbeat from a certain level or a number, then we dive further into it, what the root cause of the problem is, from airflow to your flue pipe not exhausting correctly, and you name it.
Good, because that was going to be one of my questions. How do you handle older equipment where it's unaffordable for them to upgrade the equipment? You just answered that by putting in optimal technology on older equipment so that it may not be optimal, but it's more secure, more safe.
Yes, and it's sad to say, there's a lot of companies out there who they have a lot of overhead where they are. It's not in our vocabulary, but they always like to sell items or sell new equipment and so forth like that. On our end,
the houses that they blow up, right?
Yes. If you definitely read between those lines, right? So, I've been doing over 30 years, my service manager, 30 years, and youngest employee, 5 years. We're so knowledgeable enough. We don't need to, that's our profession, but we want to make sure every customer's happy. I don't care if it's a 30-year-old furnace to a brand new unit. We even have things into play of a point system where we'll show the customer if it's ranging from up to 10 points, it might be recommended to replace the equipment due to the fact recommended items might be expensive to repair, the lack of getting that material or that item because the unit's 15 or 30 years old and so forth like that. So we're very photo happy people. We take pictures of everything and show the customers all the time. So they get that comfort level with you.
That's the third time I've heard comfy mentioned.
Another question with regard to this is from the investor standpoint, we buy homes that need to be renovated.
Yes.
What lifespan of a furnace is, if it was maintained properly, what would you expect the lifespan of a furnace to be? Typical average.
This day and age, 15 years.
Okay.
So if it's older than 15 years, you should really think about upgrading it or replacing it to something newer.
The usually formula with the grading system I was mentioning earlier, once you get something between 10 to 12 years, that's a couple points here and there of you're going to start to see your wear and tear on items and so forth like that.
Right.
So with equipment, and it all depends on the product that you're putting in, the manufacturer. They're all very competitive nowadays. So they all want to be the top of just like everybody else, where they're all offering pretty much competitive warranties and so forth like that.
All right. My last question, because we've taken up a lot of your time already. So in the event of an emergency system failure,
yes,
what's your response times, and what would you suggest to people if they're like home with their children in the middle of the night? what would you say?
We like to get out there within a 2 to 3 hour window if possible. Obviously, it always depends if you're completely staffed, like booked and so forth. If a lot of calls are coming in, we always definitely get that out there within 24 hours though. With the customers, being that we're so knowledgeable, we've been doing this in the industry for so long. We have a procedure and a checklist that we walk customers through with, of what to check, what to turn off for safety purposes and so forth like that. So we've even helped diagnose and repair items in other states, Florida, Texas, you name it, just over the phone. So for those customers out of state to help prevent price gouging.
That's awesome.
Yeah, especially
based on that comment,
storms.
Yeah, based on that comment that you just made, what can you bring or offer to the members of CNJ or AIG?
Well, for the members here, with the installations that we do, we mentioned that there's a 10-year parts warranty and so forth and a 2-year labor warranty. We actually can extend that up to 10 years of labor warranty for the equipment that's installed.
I love it.
That's always great benefit because labor's not always included in, when warranties happen. It's the equipment, not necessarily the labor. And if it's done wrong, like we know something.
We'll read between those lines again, right? Yes. And then even with some, we also do different things, dryer vent cleanings, duct cleaning and so forth like that. If you have a rehab house and you're keeping it, well, it depends on the style that you're doing. If you're, demoing them completely or going from the ground up, that's a different story. But if you're looking to save a couple bucks and you're keeping the existing ductwork and so forth, you're going to get a lot of construction debris build up. You definitely want to get those ducts cleaned. Because when you put the new equipment in, if you don't replace those filters right away, and always use pleated filters, those are they look like dust masks, the white material dust masks.
Right.
You always want to use those type of filters due to the fact the other style of filters to find particles getting, and it clogs up the evaporator coils. And hence it's going to cause premature issues, lack of cooling, and could damage the equipment down the road.
I love it. Absolutely love it all.
Okay, well, we don't want to take any more of your time. We appreciate you jumping on with us and giving our members and other people a background on your business and how you can help them.
Making us feel very comfortable to want to work with you. I'm nice and comfy already.
It was all part of yes, we do new installations. Yes, we do service of old equipment. And yes, we'll come in and make a recommendation if you should upgrade this equipment or what's needed and maybe expand on it, put in a second system if needed, depending on what their goals are, because we have a lot of rehabbers in the group and landlords compared to builders, but we get a mixed bag in the group of everybody. So it's good to have somebody in there that does a mixed bag of everything, because I've run into some guys who they'll just do replacements. They won't do new installs. They won't replace ductwork. They won't fix things. They just swap a unit out or do a general maintenance, and that's it.
No, it's interesting. Well, we have a slogan. We've had the slogan since I started the company back in 2010 for comfort, quality, and care, called Delco Air, and we stand behind those ones.
Awesome.
That's why we like you being a vendor of our group. You fit right into how we are. We like to help other people out. So
excellent. Yep.
Absolutely. So
okay, Brian, I think that's it from our end.
Link below when we post this up, so everybody could get in contact with you. The best contact.
Perfect. So our best contact is it's 800-881-9203. That's our direct line. Or you could go to our website, which is delcoairhvac.com. You can see all of our specials and coupons that we offer over there. And one last one is delcoairhvacinfo.com. That's our email address. And if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have, any pricing, any second opinions, give us a call.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Appreciate your time today, Brian. And we look forward to seeing you at the next event.
Last Wednesday of the month, everybody, over in Woodbridge.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. You're awesome.
Have a
We'll
good
see you
one.
soon. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Pleasure. Enjoy.
Bye,
Have a
everyone.
great day.